What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I am going to be making the Ion Dragon, and right here I am going to be using this dragon right here for the main body. Now yes, this is a dragon from the show Game of Thrones or the House of Dragons, but on the package that it came in did not say the name of the dragon, so if y'all know what the name is, put it in the comments. Give you a little bit of a look at it before we get started. Now this is mostly like a rubber or soft plastic or like a flexible flat plastic. So this will work out just fine. The only thing is we're going to be removing are the wings and the head and part of the neck. And this part right here at the tail. So what we're going to need is an X-Acto knife. Alright, so we're going to cut the wings off. I have to change the blade. But right here we're going to cut off the head and tail. Now I'm going to mark where I'm going to add my cuts for the articulation. Alright, I used the Dremel, but it's too small, so we're going to move to a drill. Be very careful using this. Alright, now I got on there, I got the wire for the wings. So right here I am going to use some new clay. And we're just going to do the lining for the wings. Welcome back everybody. I am sorry that I'm just bringing y'all back now. I had some really bad weather and the camera could not stay charged because I kept losing power. So every time I went to mix up some green stuff or working on the wings, the camera kept saying battery low. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm at least glad everything is straight now. And yes, before we start, you can already see the wing is a little loose because that is the gimmick where Godzilla can rip off the wing. Grant, yes, I do know this is the wrong wing that gets ripped off. When I was doing this, I did not go back and check it before sealing this one to itself or this one. I just not long went back and checked everything to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. That's when I realized it. Try and get the wing to stay in its little pocket. But yes, the tail did actually have more spikes, and here's one of the spikes right here. And it fell off because of being at the end of the tail. There's not much space because how thin I cut it, the tail. But hopefully I'll be able to get that one on there. It was just, I had all of them on there and then they just flaked off. Hopefully nothing else will fall off. And before we start also, you already probably noticed the hands. And these look familiar because these are actually Zilla or Godzilla 1998 hands. And if you can see, if the camera would focus, I actually shortened the fingers because I cut them off and then cut a little bit off of each one and shorten them for it to make this look decent, because this monster's hands were kind of like long fingers, but they don't look too bad on here. And also I was able to somehow make it where the belly will have that little bit of movement right here. Somehow that part right there opened up. But yeah, everything else instead the tail looks fine. So because of what the wings are, and yes, you just noticed that I can actually flex the wings. But we'll talk about that more after everything's done. But because of that, I'm not just going to put prime on here. I'm actually going to use gray dye just like I did on Behemoth. So I know this won't crack and the paint won't fall off, hopefully. So I will bring y'all back once I have it all colored up. Alright, so we had a little bit of an issue. I did put dark gray prime on here, but that's because I did not know super glue does not take to dots. It's around the horns, spike, and going down the tail and for the spikes and right here. Did not take. Or the hot glue that I used to fill in the gaps did not take to the die at all. So I went on and put the prime on here just for an extra coat. And the tail, we had a little bit of an issue. The line from here to the tip snapped. So I ended up going back, putting it back together. And the tail is wired now, but on the inside there's a loop and the head is still on the fishing line. So it can still move and do a little bit better. But we're going to start to paint them. So right here, we're going to work on the underbelly. And right here, I have like a mixture of gray and light mocha. Alright, so I used the same color on the wings as well, but right here we're going to take some dark pink and dry brush this over the wings. Now we're going to move on to the body, and that is going to be pavement. Alright, now we're going to use the same paper towel, and we're going to use some dark blue or regular blue and just dry this over the pavement. And now we're going to move on to the MAC varnish. Alright, the MAC varnish is dried. I let it sit overnight, and I'm glad we have no issues whatsoever with it. I know the camera went out of focus when I moved the wings. Now, when I talk about issues or anything, I'm talking more about the wings not being able to bend or do, and they can still do it without having the paint cracking or chipping off, so I am so glad about that. Now, I do highly recommend this clay right here, and it is called Cos Clay. Here's the name right here. Just try not to overbake it like I did the first time. Now, everything else turned out fine. Now, I'm going to tell you about the eye color. Now, that is swamp green with, for the iris is light green and then black for the pupil. Teeth are bone color. And the gills on the neck is the same as the mouth, just dark pink. And that was all I did know. Never mind, the horns and claws is black because I did not get a chance to record that part. But now we're going to talk about his size. Now, I did mess with the wing, so he's a little off, so we're just going to hold him like right here. Now, the only monster he fights is right here, and that's the only one I have to size him up with. And now he comes up to Godzilla's knees, just like all the other sizing scales that I've seen. But also, I made the wings, I know the wings are in perfect size because I made sure when I was making them, when he pulls the one off, that it was in scale with him. So I know these are in scale. If I can put his wing back on. There we go. Move him out the way. Now we do have a little bit still looseness in the legs, but that is fine because it makes it easier to put him on other monsters' backs or on other stuff. The tail I do have to move around, and it does have these little gaps in it because it used to have a curve. I kind of wish I would have made the tail out of the same as the wings, but it still turned out fine. Got the four hooks or claws on its tails. Now, y'all probably think the wing was the only bonus that I decided to do for this. No, no, no. I actually went beyond that, and at last minute, I made the slime that he spits out. Now, this is, the colors are dark turquoise, a little bit lighter turquoise, and then just plain turquoise. Hopefully, I've said that word right, or just a greenish blue is what I used on here. And to get the detail on there, I used the wood burner and just carved out the lines on there. Now, what I used to make this was just two different types of glue sticks, regular size and full size, and these were actually cut off, and this part was cut off too. I just heated up one side of this, pushed this part into it, and then just started pushing this part over on top of this part so it would blend it somewhat together. And then at the end, I just started taking the wood burner and just start doing this with it to get these little pieces right here. But I don't think I did too bad of a job on that. And it does fit in his mouth. Now, before you ask, I did not fit this to Godzilla's head. This just ended up going like this on top of it. So I could use this on other monsters or just on other things, just like how I got it right here. See, there we go. But yeah, that's going to do it right here. I hope everybody enjoyed the video, and I hope to see everybody next time.